Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome to the Believe You Are a Good Mom podcast. If you missed the intro and the outro music, well, let me just tell you what. On Spotify, you can watch the actual video of this podcast, and I can't get over how fun that is. Video podcast? What? No more is it, oh, you have a voice for a podcast. You know, that joke. Anyway, I have a face for radio. Is that the joke? Anyway, I botched that joke. The point is, go to Spotify, watch the video. That's why there's no intro. If there's an intro, then I only recorded the audio and you can't see the video. And especially when I'm chatting with one of my friends, which, I love me some collaborations and I love having guest hosts. Hold on, we're going to make sure the correct mic is okay, good. Those ones for sure will have videos. Today it's just me, but whatevs. I did my makeup, so I have to record the video because this is not normal. Okay. We are talking about something important today, so let's stop dillying around. Today we are talking about how do you identify what? Is that a buzz phrase or what? How do you identify, especially the past couple of years, where there's been lots of talking about identifying by gender or sexuality, even by race. So how do you identify? Basically, that's talking about your identity. Okay. So what's in an identity? Let's delve in. Let's talk about race for a second. So I do not have permission from my bestie to be sharing this. So if you know me, you might know who this is. Otherwise, I'll keep her name anonymous at least. Anyway, one of my really good friends is from, oh, look, I have a map behind me. And if you're watching the video, you can see she's from Africa, right here in South Africa, a little country unto itself, surrounded by the country of South Africa. Anyway, she's from Africa. She lives in the United States of America. She is a US citizen now. Is she African? Is she American? Is she African American? And she married a guy from the US who, as far as I know, is as white can be. And they have a baby. How does she identify? What is her daughter going to identify as the rest of her life? Like, who knows? Right. And that's only like a first generation. Imagine you're like an eighth Chinese, a fourth Korean, a 16th wherever, like, how do you identify? Right. As far as where you're from or where your ancestors were from, or I mean, that's what we consider race, right? Anyway, this is just an example because really what we're talking about is being a good mom. Okay. And it relates, I promise. Just as with every guest who comes on here, what does being a good mom and style have to do with each other? We'll find out because everything has to do with being a good mom. Okay. Okay. So believing that you are a good mom. Believing that you are a good mom. It's about identity. So are you a mom? Is that an easy yes or no question? There's like a tiny population that maybe they got pregnant when they were 16 and they gave the child up for adoption. Someone else adopted their kid. They may or may not identify as a mom because they did give birth to a child. Maybe they have zero contact with that child and they don't want to identify as mom. I don't know. The point is, how do you want to identify yourself? Like, does she want to identify herself as African? Does she want to identify herself as American? Because she is legit on paper more of a US citizen than I am. Like, she knows a heck of a lot more about history and politics and all the things than I do growing up in this country. So how does she want to identify? How would that mom of an adopted child who did not raise them, has no children of her own still, does she want to identify as a mom? Are you a mom? Like, that may be a very easy yes or no answer. So because it's so easy, it's easy to identify as a mom. Okay. But I was thinking about this shower thoughts, right? So it's not oh shoot. And I knew if I brought this up, I would forget the words. Okay. So let me write them down real quick. So it's not, I lost it already. Oh no. It's not on a continuum. Okay. How about that? Continuum, however you spell that. Okay. So a continuum to me, I picture as as a ruler, right? So either you're here or there, right? Like I ask you all the time, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you a good mom? Like the 1 on a ruler is like a bad mom and the 10 is a good mom, right? That's a continuum, right? And there are a lot of things that we don't want to be 1 or 10. We want to have a happy medium about. So the continuum idea is very helpful, especially as your coach. I use a continuum a lot. But I think that identity is more of a spectrum. So when I think of spectrum, I think of a sphere. When you talk about the autism spectrum, it's like I think that every human brain is on that spectrum somewhere, right? The more we learn about the brain, the more complex we find out it is. And everyone's neural pathways are so different. And just the experience, the genetics, the nature versus nurture, all that stuff is like so fascinating to me. And I think of it as a sphere because there's not like this end or that end, or this is good and this is bad, and you want to be over here and you don't want to be over there. It's none of that. Like, it's just complex, right? And so I like to think of spectrum because that feels more complex to me. Like another visual that I come up with when I think of a spectrum is color. So when you go like in graphic design, you're going to change the color of something. There's like a bunch of different ways you can pick it. And one of them is like the blended colors altogether. I love blended color. And that kind of feels like a spectrum to me. Like it's just so complex, right? Within just from changing from red to orange, there's like 1,000 different shades. And so that's how I feel about identity. Is some of it is very black or white. Are you a mom? Yes. Are you a good mom? Oh, that's spectrum, right? I think that's how people think about it, is that either you are or you aren't some things, but then there's some other things that is a little bit more gray, as you will. Like it's not black or white, you're in the gray. So I want you to believe that you are a good mom. I want you to believe that it's an identity, that it's like yes or no. Are you a mom? Yes. Are you a good mom? Yes. I believe that I am a good mom. Not, well, my kids had ramen for breakfast and I've been in my office working all day while they're on fall break. I don't know what they're doing out there. So I guess that makes me a bad mom, none of that. Like, yes, I am a good mom and there's all of that we can deal with, but it doesn't define who I am. I'm telling you, every single one of these podcasts, I just am trying to explain this concept in different ways, because when you believe that you are a good mom as an identity, it's who you are, then it's so much easier to live into who you are, not chasing some ideal that you'll never get to. Okay. So if you want to be a good mom, that presupposes that you're not, and that it's somewhere you're trying to get. Okay. We're not trying to get anywhere. It's who we are. You're already there. Okay. Just want to pound the pulpit and scream it from the rooftops. You are a good mom. Okay. It's who you are. It's your identity. So what are some other identities you identify as, right? Like, it used to be very black or white. You're a man or a female, right? A male or a female. Like, and if you identify as one or the other of those, and that's an easy yes or no, black or white answer, right? And if you don't, if there's some other reasons why it's like complicated for you, then that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's why, like a mixed race, quote unquote, it's like more of a spectrum, right? We're getting into like complicated humans. Like humans are complicated because we have like these amazing brains that are a spectrum, not a continuum, right? Or not a ruler, or not a whatever. So but it doesn't need to be so complicated. Like, if you just take it down to the basics, you are a human being. Can we agree on that? Like, that's easy. Yes. Are you a human or are you an alien? And then we can even go crazy with like aliens. Well, I don't know. Did God make everyone in the whole entire everywhere? So are the aliens? Anyway, we don't need to get into that. Point is, are you a human? Yes. Therefore, God made you. God is good. You are good. Full stop. Okay. So you are a good person because you are a person. Like, are you a person? Yes. Like, to me, because I choose to believe this because it serves me so well. If you are a person, then you are a good person. Can you imagine walking around the world with this belief that every single person out there is a person, therefore they are good? Okay. I'm not saying they're amazing, that they're terrific, that they're fabulous, whatever, just good. Can we at least swallow that we are all good because we are all people? And that's the way God describes himself. And that's what he said when he created us, that it is good. Why would it be any different now? He created us, we were good. Then we make mistakes, that makes us bad? No, we are who we are. We are good. And we make mistakes, and we can repent for those mistakes. And it doesn't change who we are. Okay. Have I made my point yet? Is this even recording? Okay. So your identity is who you are. Okay. We identify ourselves as a lot of different things. Sometimes people identify themselves by their career. I am a mathematician. I don't know why that's the first thing that came to mind. I certainly am not that. I am a dentist. I am a coach. I am a lawyer. I am a mom. I am a neighbor. I am a sister. I am a friend. So we identify as lots of different things. So our career, our birth order, I'm a middle child. I am a middle child out of 6 kids. You can't convince me otherwise because I have middle child-itis more than anybody I've ever met. I am a middle child, even though, see, I'm not a mathematician. 6 kids, there's no middle, right? But I am. I've identified that as that for so long that my brain goes and finds all the evidence. My mom calls it a persecution complex, right? So I'm the middle child. I got left on a mountain. I got left at the church. These are things that inform your brain of who you are. Okay. And I laugh about it now because I know how to retrain my brain and whatever, and I can be onto it, but it's still like, anyway, that's why it's so important to figure out what your brain is doing and think your thoughts intentionally, because if you're not, you're just thinking them unintentionally and they're still affecting your life. So if you're unintentionally going around your day thinking I'm a crappy mom, that's how you're going to show up. Guess what you're going to prove to yourself? Guess what you're going to get more of? Crappy mom. Not okay. For the children. All the kids deserve to have a mom who knows that she is a good mom. You are. It's who you are. It's your identity. Okay. Identity is unchangeable. So we tell ourselves stories. And as soon as we tell ourselves that story more than once, then it solidifies in our brain and we think that it's a truth. And it turns into an identity. How about this? I'm a procrastinator. How about identifying with something like that? Or I'm lazy. Holy. Or I'm whatever. Did you know that's a conjunction? Is that the word? Contraction for I am? Don't be fooled when your brain says I'm. It's still saying I am, and it's a lie if it's anything but good. Okay, my kids are knocking. It's enough for today. Rant and rave over. Identify as good, please. And then you'll see that you will become who you've always been. Believe you are a good mom, my friend. Go to dropthewordlifecoach.com/believe to learn more. Love you. Bye.